What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and in this one we got the Michigan versus Nebraska preview as the number 2 ranked Wolverines go on the road for the first time of the season against a feisty Nebraska team. Gonna be going over the keys to the game, plus key players to look out for both teams and key statistics that stand out. We're also going to be giving my prediction to the game. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so coming into this one, Nebraska 2-2 on the season. Michigan ranked number 2 in the nation at 4-0. And right now the spread is Michigan 17-point favorites to win this game. This game is going to be on Fox at 3:30 p.m. kickoff time, and right now, according to ESPN's matchup predictor, Michigan has an 87.5% chance to win, Nebraska 12.5% chance. So we're going to get into some statistics, but I first want to go over Nebraska's schedule first. Nebraska, they should be 3-1, but they choked in their first game against Minnesota. They lost 13-10, then they lost to Colorado 36-14, and their past 2 games they are 2-0 as they beat Northern Illinois 35-11, and Louisiana Tech they beat 28-14 last weekend. Michigan, on the other hand, they beat East Carolina 30-3, beat UNLV 35-7, beat Bowling Green 31-6, and beat Rutgers 31-7 last weekend. So yes, Michigan is definitely the big favorite here in this game, as they should be able to dominate Nebraska. But Nebraska's defense has a very good rushing defense. They rank number 1 in the nation in rushing defense, only allowing 1.83 yards per rush and 46.2 yards per game in the rushing column. Now, Michigan's rushing offense has not been the best, as they rank 49th in rushing offense, averaging 167.8 yards per game in the rushing column. Now, Nebraska's rushing offense, they rank number 6, averaging 234.8 yards per game. Meanwhile, Michigan's rushing defense is one of the best in the nation. They rank number 12, only allowing 2.76 yards per rush and a total of 80 yards per game. Now, one thing Michigan does have defensively is, first off, total defense. They rank number 3 in the nation, only allowing 231 yards per game. And Nebraska, they rank number 23rd in that column. And Michigan's scoring defense is ranked number 1 in the nation, only allowing a total of 23 points on the season and an average of 5.75 points per game. Nebraska, right now, they rank 33rd in the nation in that column. So those are some statistics on the season for both Michigan and Nebraska. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. But Nebraska's offense, they are an option team. They like to run the ball a lot, and they also like to stop the run pretty good against teams so far this season. They are going to have their hands full against Michigan, though. Now, we're going to go ahead and get into the keys to the game for Michigan later, but I do want to go over Nebraska's roster here and the projected starters on offense for Nebraska. First off is the sophomore quarterback Heinrich Haarberg. Now, we did not see action in the first 2 seasons on campus. However, he has been the starter in the last 2 games for Nebraska, as he's rushed 42 times for 272 yards and 2 touchdowns, while completing 24 of his 47 passes for 278 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Now, Jeff Sims was the original opening day starter. However, Haarberg seems to have done a little bit better than Jeff Sims, and he's led Nebraska to 2 wins now. Nebraska also has senior running back Anthony Grant, as he has 208 rushing yards on 38 attempts this season with 2 touchdowns, and he splits carries with sophomore running back Gabe Ervin Jr. And then their wide receivers, they have the sophomore Alex Bullock, who has 5 catches for 103 yards and a touchdown on the season. And then the senior Marcus Washington, who last season had 31 catches and 471 receiving yards. Then the senior wide receiver Billy Kemp, who leads the team right now with 13 receptions, 132 yards, and a touchdown. And their tight end is Thomas Fedone. So those are some key offensive players to look out for Nebraska. And their defense, they have players like Nash Hutmacher, who's recorded 12 tackles, including 3.5 for loss and 1.5 sacks, and a quarterback hurry. Defensive end Ty Robinson, who has 7 tackles on the season, including a half a sack. Blaze Bunderson, and their linebacker Luke Reimer, who did go out due to an injury last weekend, and if he doesn't see too much playing time, we'll see junior Javin Wright. But on Nebraska, they have some depth on defense. 10 different players have double-digit tackles on the team, including 6 with 16 or more, and they also play a 3-3-5 defense, which is what TCU ran against Michigan in the playoffs last season, which obviously that defense stopped Michigan's run game pretty good in that game. As far as Nebraska's offense, they have an old school type of offense. They run a lot of options, and they've rushed for more than 200 yards in each of its last 3 games and more than 180 in all 4 games they've played this season. They mix in a lot of old school triple option. They play with extra tight ends. Now Michigan, they're going to have their hands full, especially on defense. They stopped the rush pretty good against a very good rushing team out of Rutgers last weekend, but Nebraska is a whole nother team that likes to run the ball and use the triple option. They have a running quarterback, but Michigan's defense, they have stopped the run pretty dang good so far this season. But Nebraska, I think for Michigan, some of the keys to the game here is they have to force Heinrich Haarberg to throw the ball. They really have to zone in and stop Nebraska's run game, and they have to defend the triple option very good because they can have some trouble with that. As for the offense for Michigan, they are going up against a 3-3-5. They're going to have to adapt to Nebraska's different defenses that they play multiple schemes, and of course that 3-3-5 defense. Michigan might have some trouble running the ball against Nebraska, and if they do, they're going to have to turn to JJ McCarthy and his throwing ability, and we're going to have guys like Cornelius Johnson, Tyler Morris, who has picked it up, Roman Wilson, who leads Michigan right now with 6 touchdowns on the season, and then obviously tight end Colston Loveland played phenomenal last game, definitely had his best game of the season last game. As far as the offensive line, Miles Hinton is playing through something right now, and we might see Ladarius Henderson get more playing time, but we'll just have to see. Then obviously Michigan has the 1-2 punch of Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum. Donovan Edwards has struggled this season. We'll see if he starts to pick it up against Nebraska, as he didn't really do too much last week against Rutgers. Blake Corum had 97 yards though and 2 touchdowns against Rutgers. Also look for JJ McCarthy to run the ball. He ran the ball a little bit more against Rutgers, had some great read option plays, but I think the main thing here, Michigan, they're going to want to establish the run game, but it's going to be hard against Nebraska. Obviously, they just got to find a way to win the game, but I do expect Michigan to, maybe pass the ball a little bit more in this one. And again, as far as Michigan's defense, the keys of the game for them is stopping that triple option offense, stopping that quarterback run play, and force Heinrich Haarberg to throw the ball against them. Michigan's defense, they rank number 1 in scoring defense. They have been phenomenal so far this season of not allowing touchdowns or points. They would have shut out Rutgers last weekend if it wasn't for that first possession of the game. But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think will happen in this game of Michigan versus Nebraska. Should be a fun one. It's going to be in Lincoln, Michigan. They struggled the last time in Lincoln. It was a very exciting game, but they came out with a win. And now I want to hear your guys' score predictions to the game. Last week I was very close. I predicted Michigan to win against Rutgers 31-10. They beat them 31-7. So this week the spread is 17, but I think Michigan clears that, and I think Michigan wins this one 38-7 against Nebraska. Let me know in the comment section down below your guys' score predictions. I also forgot to mention that it will be nice to have Darius Clemens back on the sideline available for Michigan at the wide receiver position. He's been out due to an injury, so he will finally get to play. Mason Graham will be out again this week. Hopefully we'll get him back next week or the following week per Harbaugh. But other than that, that is going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you guys go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more. If you are new around here, I greatly appreciate it. But other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.